Hello, welcome. So we are testing out Language Reactor Pro. I have been a free user of Language Reactor for probably at least 5 years now, and I pretty much solely use it to get dual subtitles on Netflix and occasionally YouTube, but I have been really curious about using it for sentence mining and stuff like that, just seeing what other features are available. I signed up for the Pro 3-month subscription, started testing it out basically, so I am primarily using this for German. I really liked that there's a really easy way to set up your kind of expected vocabulary knowledge. They have basically a slider where you place yourself depending on how many words from their list you understand, and then from there it will assume whether you know a word or not, and then you can alter that obviously yourself. Yesterday I watched my first YouTube video using the Pro, and so was saving words, marking words as known, etc. Of course, with YouTube, the experience is kind of only going to be as good as the subtitles, and the vast majority of channels that I like to watch on YouTube do not do quality subtitles. They kind of just have the auto-generated ones. So knowing that, obviously I'm not expecting perfection, and so there's a lot of like weird little things that I just fully ignored. But especially if you are brand new to the language, or if you're learning a language where the auto subtitles are maybe even worse, potentially that might be a bigger deal breaker. Then the other aspect that I tried out last night was podcasts. My cat has the zoomies. So they do have a number of podcasts kind of built in, I guess you could say. So you can read along with the transcript, translate things, save words, etc. So really like that. So yeah, looking forward to not just using that, but also discovering new podcasts that are on their list. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's any way to import podcasts that aren't on their list unless you own the files. Same with like using the built-in YouTube thing. I think it's only channels that they have added themselves, but you can obviously still use the browser extension to watch your own YouTube videos. Those are just my kind of initial thoughts. I am really liking it so far. I did do a brief session with the phrase pump, which is kind of the vocabulary tester. So I'm interested to see how that evolves, if it evolves. I have just added a book to my texts. I added the full text version of an EPUB that I had, and so we're gonna give it a try. I don't know, this book I think is probably pretty advanced for me, but we're gonna give it a shot. So I do have the audiobook on Storytel, so I can try to listen along. I really dislike the voice to text that they have. I think it's quite bad, so I will not be using that, but we're gonna try. Okay, we are a few days into using Language Reactor Pro, and I really, really like it. There are issues though, and I think for different people they will be major or minor. Sorry, I'm congested. I do think I will have to continue this experiment using other tools as well, because I am really not that familiar with what's out there in the sentence mining world, because I've never done this, and I can tell that there is basic functionality missing from Language Reactor, but nonetheless it still honestly is super good for how cheap it is. I think, I mean, I'm sure there are free options that require a lot more, setting up and tweaking and stuff. So I just did, let me record my screen one moment. Just watched this video on it's on YouTube, but it's in their library. So they have a bunch of channels here built into the site, not just through the oh my god, let me close the window. People are mowing outside. I swear it can be the quietest day in the world. The moment you start filming, people crawl out of the woodwork to make noise. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the best navigation. Because even like that one, I saw a video from that person in the reactor mix, like just the front page. Yeah, here. It was like a number 78 of a series or whatever, so I wanted to find a video that wasn't deep into a series. And like I searched on here, and a whole bunch of things come up that are not this, even though that one is there. And don't think that this is because I already have it pinned. No, this is the exact search results that I got before. So, you know, there's some quirks. Let's just look at a video here. So you have the video here, you have subtitles, and then the subtitles come up here too. You can change, you can make it both English and German or whatever you want. You can do over and under instead of side by side. The only thing that I don't like is that you can't change. I would like under the video to only be German, but on the side to be side by side, and it doesn't seem like you can do that. You know, it is what it is. So you can save phrases, and then I tried using this phrase pump thing. I don't like it. It has potential, but for one thing, and I saw someone else complaining about this in the forum, everything that it does is alphabetical. Like, it's not randomized, so you get a card for the same word like 6 times in a row because it's just going through them alphabetically, which is insane to me. And it doesn't seem like that's something you can change. The idea of this, I think, is that it's making phrases based on the words that you have saved as learning. So it's not only the things you save directly, it's also, you know, trying to intelligently predict what you need to learn next, which I think is cool. But it just, to me, even if it was just randomized, like that would make a huge difference. But what I did do is export to Anki, which I've never been an Anki user, but you know, we'll give it a try. So we're going to export only the items since my last export. So if we go to this and import. Okay, yeah, so it did import. Just this is the first time I've imported not the full set, so just checking on that. So we will study. Mach die Tür zu, es zieht. I got this one yesterday.
Mach die Tür zu, es zieht.
Oh my god, why did I save this? This is the other thing that when I was listening to the podcast, you know, since I'm not used to sentence mining, I was saving words, you know, that I didn't know, obviously, but not considering that they would become flashcards. So, yeah, we are going to suspend this one. Gesunder.
Ja, die bleiben gesünder einfach.
I definitely have gotten better about choosing which things to mark. Dass es mühsam sein könnte. Sie spricht kaum Englisch.
Sie spricht kaum Englisch.
Okay. Erwachsene sich erinnern sich nicht daran, wie es war.
Erwachsene erinnern sich nicht daran, wie es war.
That was pretty good. Okay. Whew. So, yeah, so far I am happy. Obviously, I picked some stupid cards for sure, but I am happy with how the cards are set up. You know, that it goes through different types of card, like different words within that sentence, stuff like that. I do think it's good. Again, I don't have a lot to compare it to because I haven't used a lot of these tools, but I think for a first-time user, it's very approachable, so that's good. I do need to try saving from Netflix. I haven't tried to save anything from Netflix yet, but so far so good. Honestly, despite kind of some weird user interface things, I really like it. Like, I actually really do. It's kind of strange because I can totally see why certain things would be a complete deal breaker for some people, but to me, honestly, they're just not. But we'll see with continued use if that continues to be true. But I definitely want to compare it to other tools. I have looked at Migaku. I'm a little bit concerned about how much they use AI and if it's possible to turn that off. With Language Reactor, you can turn it off. But also, I know that in the Japanese community, there are all kinds of sentence mining things. So if you have something that I should try out, definitely let me know. Be back with more updates. Hello, welcome back. We are about a week into using Language Reactor, I guess. I have many thoughts. I think this is just going to be like part one of probably many of my kind of sentence mining anki journey, I guess. Whether that continues or whether the journey is very short. But so far, so good. I actually am really enjoying it. And I think part of that is novelty for sure. But hopefully it will be something I can continue to use. But as far as how I'm feeling about Language Reactor, I did actually do a Migaku free trial just to compare a few things. Migaku does have some functionality that is totally separate, like courses, built-in flashcard decks, stuff like that. So I just kind of ignored those because obviously that's not comparable whatsoever. But just some thoughts that I had. Something that is a little bit annoying about Language Reactor, for whatever reason right now at least, it does not capture the original audio from YouTube for your cards. So if you... oh, my battery's gonna die. So if you create a flashcard on YouTube, within Anki, it will use text-to-speech for that card, which is not inherently a problem, but it does capture the original audio from podcasts that you do within the website and from Netflix. So it would be really nice if it also did it from YouTube. You would think it wouldn't be that difficult if it's taking it from Netflix. Netflix feels like it would have been the most problematic potentially, but I don't know. Migaku does do that. So that is something that if it's going to be really important to you, Migaku is going to be the way to go, or doing everything by hand with like Yomitan or whatever other specific tool. But I don't think that's a deal breaker for me. You know, I do hope eventually they get that figured out, but Migaku also has a couple more sites that are supported, like Disney Plus and stuff like that. I think for me, the only subscription that I have, my sister and I share Netflix and Crunchyroll. So Crunchyroll isn't supported by either one, and Netflix is supported by both. So other than that, again, I'm watching things on stuff that's not supported, like Hoopla or Canopy or whatever. So the other sites, I don't have those sites, so it doesn't really matter to me, but it may matter to you. Migaku also has a little bit more flexibility in mobile use. They have an actual app, also Readlang, but Language Reactor just uses a web app. And the web app honestly works really well, but obviously that's not going to work for like offline use or stuff like that. So the only thing that I would kind of like is that Migaku, you can search within YouTube as a whole to have videos to mine from, whereas Language Reactor on the mobile, you can only do videos that are within their library. So their library is not super up to date, and obviously it does not include every channel. So that's going to be an issue for some people. Me personally, again, it's a nice feature that Migaku has. It definitely makes it marketable, super easy sell. But I don't think I absolutely need to be mining from my phone or my iPad. Like, I still think there's value in just immersing without saving sentences. So for me, it'll just be laptop is the primary place where I do sentence mining. I can sentence mine from my phone or my iPad. If I do podcasts or a book that I've uploaded or a YouTube video that is in their library, there's already enough options that I think it wouldn't be a huge deal for me, but I understand that it's super seamless for Migaku users, which is great. Something that is actually slightly better in Language Reactor than in Migaku is that there is an audio upload. option. Like you can create a transcript from an audio file, which, unless I am completely missing it, which is definitely completely possible because I have been in the migaku trial for a day, but I did not see anywhere to upload like an MP3 file. You can upload videos, you can upload text, although I'm going to talk about that later, never mind. But the audio library just does not seem to exist in migaku at all. Which for me, there is a resource that I really want to use that is MP3. So although it's annoying to me that Language Reactor doesn't have any cloud storage for this, like at all, which I understand why they wouldn't want to take on the cost of doing that, but it is annoying that you have to like upload it and then download the transcript and then do something with it outside of Language Reactor. At least it does exist. As far as the text library, they do both have the text library. Migaku has more upload options, like you can do EPUBs or text files, whereas Language Reactor, you have to upload just the text. But Language Reactor actually hosts the text on their site, so you can access it via whatever device. Like if I've uploaded it, I can read it on my iPad or my phone or my laptop. Whereas Migaku, it's only on that device. Like I could see that the book existed and how much I had read of it, which was none, on the app, but because I uploaded it on the computer, you can only see it on the computer. Don't know if this is in development or anything. I think the reader is pretty new on Migaku, but that is something that's would kind of be a deal breaker for me if I wanted to use it as a reader. I do have ReadLink, so I can use that outside of that, but that's something that like if you're already using Link for reading and you want this for something else, then sure. But if you're wanting an all-in-one thing, that would be a big problem for me with Migaku. But can definitely say that so far, although, you know, definitely people in the forums have expressed frustration about the slowness of the development of Language Reactor, which I think is definitely a real thing. The developers do not seem to work on it full-time by any means, and so, you know, it takes a couple days to respond to bug requests and stuff like that. I do think some of these people are not using Chrome. I've seen several people who were having bugs and using Brave, and the developers were like, well, it kind of works on Brave, but we don't say it works on Brave. Not to say that I don't think that there are probably issues, but I have really been enjoying how seamless this is. Like, even compared to setting up Migaku, this was actually super easy to set up, and the cards just all work. It really is quite seamless to get started with, in my opinion. Other than that, I think things have been going well. I did drastically change my Anki settings because I just had it on the default that they gave me when I opened the app on my computer. So I had 20 new cards a day, which I have now adjusted down to 10 and may adjust down more, we'll see. And then I had maximum reviews a day on 200, which apparently messes up your SRS. I switched to the new algorithm thing, FSRS. So we'll see how that all changes things. Right now I'm spending 15 to 20 minutes, and I kind of want to keep it at that. I wouldn't want to spend more than half an hour. So, however, I need to keep adjusting the settings to do that. I will. So far, so good. I am actually enjoying it, and again, I don't know if that's just the novelty. And I'm having fun with the cards in a way that I absolutely have never enjoyed pre-made flashcards. So I did kind of have that suspicion that if I ever got into sentence mining, that I would enjoy the cards a lot more because I picked them out, even though I'm still having to weed out stupid cards that I made at the very beginning when I wasn't remembering that everything that I saved was going to turn into a card. Even though I'm still weeding those out, I'm still having way more fun than I have before. So I definitely do want to do a follow-up video, or maybe many, we'll see, depending on how long I find myself continuing this journey. If you have recommendations, definitely let me know. I right now have 3 months of Language Reactor, so I can reevaluate at the end of that whether I want to go for the year of Language Reactor, whether sentence mining is actually not for me, whether I want to switch to doing it by hand with some like with interconnected tools. Leave your recommendations if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.